Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second of the interludes, Oria, Etched within the Grove. These interludes will serve to give us a spotlight into our cast and guests characters with moments from before and during the campaign. Make sure to check out our Patreon, where there will be exclusive behind-the-scenes first looks, interviews, merch announcements, and announcements about our guests. You can also check out our YouTube and catch up on everything Ampistrano there. Make sure to also check out Deodora, Toby, Blackstone, and Cal's interludes as well. And mark your calendars, as on January 21st, Season 2 will be premiering. I know how to talk, it's fine. Yes, you had, yeah, you got it, April. That was 12. As you can see, I am joined by the
2-1.
There you go. There you go. Get 2-1.
No, but the best part is did you see me do this first, not realizing that I could just...
Oh, we're keeping this in. Anyways, so as you can see, I am joined by the lovely, the fabulous April Raygun, who will be playing
Oria. I play Oria, the monked fairy.
Amazing. April, is there anything you want to shout out that you are doing or will be doing?
Probably. I don't know. Follow me online.
Go follow
I don't know where I'm supposed to be.
But also, hire her for actual plays and podcasts because she's phenomenal. Especially when she's doing commercials. It's great. I promise you. And without further ado, it is time we go beyond the veil of Ampistrano. Hang on one moment, y'all. Our story begins 4 months before Season 1 started. Before those glimmers of fate connected and far from the confines of Illipin. We journey northward to Lornan. Lornan is a series of small villages that choose to live away from the hustle and bustle of the cities and bigger towns. You can find it hidden deep within the sacred Siori woods. It's known as a place of peace and healing, especially attractive to the weary wanderer or worn-torn soldier. It is the last stretch of civilization bringing together the deep and rich woods with the icy beauty of the north. Off the shores is a giant iceberg, Norn, with the ever-erupting Mount Jo. Instead of red-hot lava flowing into the sea, a steady stream of blue and seafoam green magma constantly flow. It is on the colder end. Lornan is partially protected by the coast. During the summer, the hot sun is paired with cooler breezes. In the winter, Lornan often has to bundle down as the offshore storms and blizzards roll in. Once a year, the ocean and sky shines with the light of the Sinoki, a moment when a series of lights, painting the skies with hues of purple, blues, whites, and greens. Often during this event, many take to the river, which glows with a similar color, and feel rejuvenated. The people of Lornan are very protective of this, and often claim it is a myth to outsiders. Most of their food is connected and sourced from the Castor Sea, and the ready imports traversing the Eshben River. A small hunting party often wanders around the outskirts of the village for other quarry and sources of food. While no known adventurers have come from Lornan, the people are ready to defend themselves if necessary. They are hesitant but welcoming to newcomers, especially those they sense that have their own demons to battle. We are currently within the summer months of Lornan, as the noon hour approaches. It is a crystal clear day, with the sun shining brightly down on all. It would be unbearable, save for the cool sea breeze. The city is bustling in its own unique way. Several students can be found near the center of these towns, filing into a small music school, where musical notes can be heard on the breeze. Merchants busy themselves within the town squares, shouting out about their wares. And it's at this moment we spy a young fairy, Oria. Where would you be? Would you be within the confines and area of Lornan, or would you be just outside it?
I think it's coming to the end of my school time, and I kind of making the last skip day, last time I get to hang around the town. I'll be in town, buying, definitely eating something. Finding the first food bed.
Oh. Roll d12.
I don't have dice. I have a character sheet.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, use your character sheet.
D12, you said?
Mm-hmm.
10.
Okay.
I don't have a dice tray. Oh my god, I'm not prepared.
Go get your dice tray.
I'll just use my character sheet.
There you go.
D&D Beyond.
D&D Beyond. You know that not far from here, where you're currently posted, there is the best bakery. Fresh loaves of bread that, unlike most bakeries where they pull the fresh bread at the beginning of the day, there seems like there is a constant smell of various breads, whether it becomes wheat to some kind of Italian artisan kind of blend. You are able to gather. They have sandwiches outside as well. So you're able to grab some kind of small sandwich. By which, what would you be eating?
If you would allow.
Sure.
I'm currently on my way to see my buddy, M.
Perfect.
Gotta go visit him and get any last minute advice. So if possible, I get a big sandwich, like a long one, like a sub.
Okay. Yeah, they definitely have those available. And you would know that your buddy, Endrick, who you affectionately call M, is not far from the city center. They prefer to kind of be on the outskirts, but you know them, but by the time that 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock rolls around, they can be found in the square telling their tales of adventures long past. So you're able to grab a sub. The shopkeeper will charge you about, I think it's about 5 silver. Not much.
Expensive.
Hey, these are sandwiches. They got stuff on them.
They got stuff on them. It's a sandwich.
It's a sandwich. And you know it's fresh. The quality is good. And you make your way through the streets to a redstone house, where there's a bench outside. There's a little bit of a garden. He's not much of a gardener, but he tries, kind of thing. So there's a lot of weeds, which he affectionately calls his darlings, because he thinks they're actual flowers. You have tried.
He's doing his best.
He's doing his best. You do see this small little oak door. And you know that when you see the light on, there's usually a candle in the window, that he is home, and is expecting you.
I do a little knock as I kind of just walk in.
All right. You hear this like bellow from the kitchen, and immediately some very like pungent kind of smells hit your nose. Something burnt. There's a little bit of a smokiness in the air as you are making your way through this hallway from the door. You know, on the left is kind of his living quarters, where the living room is, the fireplace, and then on the right there's not a very grand kitchen, but a larger kind of kitchen where he has tea. He looks at his babies, darlings, and kind of relaxes in the morning. But you hear him bellow from the kitchen as you enter his home.
I go in the kitchen. Looks like I got here right time then.
yeah, and he immediately turns around as this cauldron is just smoking. His beard, you see to everybody else, you see an elderly dwarven character. They have red at the very tips, and it's starting to go white throughout. Although right now it's really difficult to see because there's so much soot all over him. It looks like his eyebrows have been freshly waxed off from the small explosion that just happened in the kitchen. He has very kind eyes, is wearing a green shirt, a white apron, and kind of a dark brown kind of trousers. Very much wearing his loungewear. But you see by the fireplace, which is still slightly smoking as he's cleaning everything out, he has hung up on there his armor. You can see the breastplate, this beautiful silver. And he was one of those adventurers, and he tells you this as well. You know this by heart, that every scratch on his armor he made sure never got mended, because it is a tale in itself. And while it's not a scar on his skin, it was a scar on his shield, basically. So it's something that he's very tied to. So you see that large breastplate, you see his sword is hanging over the mantle as well, and he does have a shield. It's a small one. It kind of looks like a plate. Honestly, when you first saw it, it looked like a plate. I
am very tall.
You're very tall. Yeah, you're having to crouch down slightly. Kind of Gandalf moving through the the Shire slightly, with the exposed beams that are open as well. Yeah, just kind of maneuvering. He quickly maneuvers over to a sink. There's a white sink right by the window, and starts dumping it down the drain, essentially.
This is not the first time that I've come over with this. I think as she's like walking in and sees this, excuse me, pardon me, is like hitting windows, and with my wings, I'm like blowing the air. I'm circulating the air and blowing the smoke out of the room as I'm like now like fixing the oven. He forgot to turn it off. I'm turning off the oven. It's very cartoonesque as I'm like kind of dancing around as he's trying to pour it out.
And you see at that moment, he has a small cat that pops up and starts kind of batting at the smoke. And you notice that the window is actually shut, so it keeps reverberating off of as you're...
Poke the window open.
Yep, immediately smoke comes pouring out. You hear as Felix gives you a little bit of loving and gratitude. After a few moments, the sound of dumping of whatever he was cooking down the drain stops. You hear him quietly precipitating the cauldron a little bit. You can tell, even though he is trying, the bottom is completely impacted out.
Yeah.
It's done. But he turns towards you, and you see... Thank you, April. Emdrak Brereverk. I did it.
I did not plan on saying the name when I put the name.
Uh-huh, sure. You wanted me to say it. Got it.
Exactly. Yep. I call him M.
You call him affectionately M.
As he's doing this, I'm like, all right, just sit down for a moment. It's not, you can't fix that.
But
we'll get you another one.
But I think I can do it. I know.
Here, have part of it. And I just like, again, very cartoonishly anime-esque, like rip the sandwich in half and like pass half to him and just plop in a chair.
He just drops the cauldron and we'll take the sandwich. Just like, I'll worry about it later. All right, well, what are you doing here today?
Well, I'm leaving soon. And I thought, who better to get last-minute information and what to do out there than you?
That's right. I've been all over the place. Whereabouts are you headed first?
Illipin, I think. At least that direction. And you know, they're going to tell me what I should take. You'll tell me what I need to take.
That's true. I'll show you the more fun ways around for sure. No, Illipin's a great town, truthfully. I think you'll enjoy it there. And he kind of sits down, taking a large bite out of the sandwich. You do see that there are some teas, like there is a kettle that's on like a small stove, and is slowly heating up some water. He's got tea, kind of brewing and just having that ready, but he does offer you immediately ale as well, knowing that,
The tea.
So he kind of gives you an eye and like slightly raised eyebrow, like, okay, all right. Thank you for the sandwich. How much was it?
Don't worry about it. I came here to learn, and you're supposed to pay for your tuition, apparently. So I'm here to learn, and that is what I'm paying you with. It's my sandwich.
True. Well, I prefer to be paid in ale at this point.
Well, then, and she goes to reach for the sandwich.
No, this is fine.
I thought so. Unless you want to be trying to get that out of the drain again.
He gives you a slight sign with 2 fingers, which you know is in fairy kind of language, the equivalent of the middle finger. Anyways, well, let's see. There's a lot I could tell you about, honestly. Really just depends on what absolutely you need to know. Or want to know.
I heard there's a festival. Mm-hmm. Are there any dragons?
In Illipin?
Well, you always told me stories about dragons, and you made them sound like they're everywhere.
Well, there's not really a lot of dragons around anymore. There is one that's rumored to be right around the city of Allegris, and he gets up again, literally face full of sandwich, and he pulls out this map that's before you, and you see Illipin Dead Center. You see to the east, there are 2 cities. One is Jorix, which is right along the coastline, and then a few miles above it is another town, Allegris. And he kind of gestures to the mountain range, which has kind of worn away because this is a very weathered kind of map. Well, there is rumored to be a dragon here, though we haven't really seen anything like that in about 50 years, give or take. So that could be fun. Just if you go poking around, you didn't hear it from me.
No, never.
Exactly. Let's see.
What's your favorite town?
Oof.
What city, I guess? I guess the cities when they get that big, aren't they?
I mean, I think it depends on the eye of the beholder, really. If you're gonna
I hope I don't find a beholder.
Well, that could possibly happen.
Though that could be fun.
It's always gonna be fun with you. I think it'll
be fine.
I think it'll be fine. Honestly, Illipin's beautiful. You're feeling particularly adventurous. There's a small town in the Genora wetlands, and he gestures towards the west end of the map from Illipin. There's a town called Vibrin. Most amazing bar. Truthfully. Go there for the bar alone.
Okay.
It's all underwater.
Oh, it's underwater?
But you don't need, like, breathing potions or anything to kind of see everything. You get to see, like, all the crocodiles and alligators and everything in the swampland in there. It's really cool.
Maybe we should head there instead.
It's very dangerous, so...
Maybe we should make friends first and then head there.
That might be wise. It might make them more fun, too.
True.
But I would definitely recommend that. If I think of the bar's name, it's been a minute, but I'll message you. You'll keep in touch.
Obviously. Oh, of course. I mean, you have to.
Well, you'll have to let me know about all of your adventures too. But yeah, that would be probably one of my absolute favorite parts, just because it's so different. It's not Like, this place here is so nice, don't get me wrong. It's a nice oasis and not being harassed by nobles for money, for paying rent. You know, just kind of living out my days. But just something about the town itself, it just feels so different. And there's
Boring?
still a sense of adventure there. You know?
I can understand that. It's kind of boring here. Nothing really happens.
Yeah. You say that something big is about to happen. I can feel it in my bones. And he takes, like, at this point, I'm finishing off the rest of the sandwich.
Well, then, I hope you've kept your sword sharp.
Always do. That's another thing. Keep your weapons, whatever they might be. And he raises his fist.
And I put up my fists.
Sharpened. You never know when you might
painful.
need them.
Cracks the knuckles.
Let's see. Always try to get the best deal. People are always willing to negotiate within reason. And if
Good
you're
to
able
know.
to offer something else in return that may be of interest to them that they may not even know about, well, that might take you even further.
Haggle, haggle, haggle. Got it.
Haggle, for sure. Never trust a pirate.
You say that a lot.
It's the truth. It's the truth. And he, at this point, like, raises up his hand where you see that there's this large kind of scar down the middle. Did it once. Sheila. Never again.
Well, I will try not to upset any pirates.
You can upset them, just don't trust them. That's
Oh, that
simple.
too. I will not trust any pirates, I promise.
There you go. Just be open. There's a lot of different people out there.
That's what I'm hoping for. I think it'd be fun.
Fun and dangerous and stressful, but
Well, I'm supposed to avoid as much of that as possible. I'm supposed to just go out and witness and write down and send back what is happening in the world.
that doesn't sound fun at all.
It does not, does it?
No, it really doesn't.
Hopefully. Maybe I'll sign dragon.
Well, then how are you necessarily supposed to grow? Or I don't know what you and you fairies do, but how's that supposed to help? And he kind of gives you like this wink of like, you know, like, tell me but don't tell me kind of thing of like, I don't know what all of you do, but how does that necessarily help what you and your elders are trying to do?
I don't know. I'm just supposed to experience the world. But how would you experience the world if you don't get into some problems?
Yeah. And also, how do you know if you're going to be ready for the job?
True. Though it's been a long time since I've heard of any of the clerics getting attacked in the streets.
Yeah. Well, we've been under an unprecedented amount of peace, but I know have heard about the stirrings between the north and the south and customs clashing and stuff, so it's not too far to beyond belief that there might be some troubles brewing.
We'll see. People always say that there's troubles brewing. Never really see trouble.
It's true. Unless you find it, and you strike me as someone who finds it.
What does it find me? Maybe it's not my fault.
Well, maybe don't punch the first wagon you see.
Why would I punch a wagon? That sounds ridiculous.
Hey, it could happen. Especially those magic users. You never know what they'll use.
That's true. Elipid is full of magical people.
The whole world's full of magical people. Both literally and figuratively.
True.
But I think you'll be
We'll see.
fine, kiddo. And he kind of
I hope you're right.
pats your arm. Felix
Well?
has kind of settled in next to you at this point.
I guess I probably should get back before it gets too late. Take up too much of your day.
You know, so busy. I've got, children to read stories to about my escapades in the capital and all that. So
You really should write them down more, and we could probably sell them somewhere.
I don't know how to write.
Didn't we just teach you how to read?
Reading is one thing, writing is another.
True. We'll find someone.
Eh.
Oh, you could just dictate them. That's when you tell someone else your stories and make them write it down. Then you don't have to do any of the work.
Oh, it's so boring. And he kind of just folds in on himself onto the table, just like... Because then someone else is writing it. And how do I know that they're not going to take those stories and say that they did it, you know?
Because if they do, we stab them.
I like you. I remember.
And she just starts laughing.
I'm going to miss you.
Pat, Pat. I'll see you when I get back.
You better. Good luck. Oh, there's something in the... right by the fireplace. Not this one. You guess here's the one that's still slightly smoking. It's a potting gift, because I know you're heading out.
She just runs in there.
You find among his mess of things, and he's got several books. You can see he's been trying to read a bit more. He's getting a little advantageous. There is a small parcel. It's about, I think, the size of a small box, wrapped in kind of a light green linen with a ribbon on it. You can see he did attempt to try to spell your name. It's just O.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
I love him. Everything he does is amazing. And I'll gently open it.
Okay. You unwrap it, and you find within there is a small necklace, in silver. It's a butterfly with wings. However, the body of the butterfly, upon closer inspection, it actually looks like two fists coming together. As it kind of gleams in the light, you can see it shifts from that silver to reds to purples to your kind of color palette. And has on the back of it the letter O.
I love it.
Good, don't lose it.
I make no promises, but I'll try.
All right, get out of here before Felix starts crying, and you already start to hear like the very upset. Get out of here.
And see you in a few. I just leaves.
Go say hi to my darlings before you go. As the door shuts.
As I walk outside, hello, darlings. Very loudly so he can hear.
Thank you. You hear from inside the house. And the dandelions are just kind of shifting in the wind as you go. You head out from M's house. And where are you headed next?
Probably just wandering, taking the long way back.
Okay. Sure. You maneuver around the town. Even though you've been here dozens of times. And you know you usually have to get some kind of permission. You still get some stares, especially from the children that are leaving school in some way, shape, or form. Just curious looks. Curious, wondered, some slightly scared, not knowing exactly who or what you are. But otherwise, no one really approaches you. Everyone's kind of busy going about their business on a busy work day.
Yeah, I'm just taking my time. Not really. If the kids are like following me, I'll do like make the smell of like a bakery or something sweet.
Sure.
If kids are being rude, I'll walk past and like make a oh, did you just do that? And make like a bad smell. Just like messing with kids.
Sure. Yeah,
in like a nice way.
You do see that two boys go from bullying a small girl, halfling.
I stopped that for sure.
Oh, yeah. They become immediately entranced by you kind of flittering your wings about. That immediately draws their attention away from this pigtailed halfling girl, curly mess of hair, that's just kind of, silently crying. It stops and just kind of looks at you with like, oh, as you kind of walk by. But the day is yours. Would you, are there any shops or anything specific you would like to stop by, or are you just taking the scenic route back?
I'm taking the scenic route back because I don't have my shopping list yet, do I?
No, you would not have your shopping list left. Okay.
I know I have to go shopping, so that there's no reason to do it now.
Sure. You head out from M's and the school, one of the schools that have let out, as the sun's kind of still moving across the sky. You also see that life is moving on. Which is kind of a strange concept, because for you and for so many of the fairies, life is life and then death. It's very one and then the other. So to see your kind of domino, or marble, I think would be the better actual phrasing for this, moving through the town, watching as these little glimmers into their lives, happening, seeing a family of changelings heading into their home as their 2 kids have just arrived home. The dad is coming in from the fields. Life moves on in a strange way. It's quicker for everybody else. For you, it's slow. But it also feels like a moment. And those thoughts are kind of entering your head as you're maybe crossing a bridge, as one of the rivers is moving through, the Etched River, which is this pretty large river that cuts through the town itself. And you're crossing this wooded bridge, watching as several ducklings move through. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I'm not. Just like it sounds cute. I like that.
After, I would say probably about a couple hours of you meandering, taking in the sights, getting a look at the ocean.
As I got farther away from like the village and more people, like less people, I would have started flying.
Sure. Which gives you a much grander kind of view of everything. You get to see the ocean, which is still not a place you've actually been to. You've just seen it. So it's a bit strange to see the landscape shift from woods and ice, which is a little bit a ways, to sand and rock and water. Water that is alive, more so than the river itself. But eventually, you do kind of maneuver. Let me move. Back into the Sayari Woods, which is this large expanse of woods that cuts Lornan off from the rest of Ampistrano. You head about a mile or 2 away to a row of redwood trees in a small clearing.
I would kind of fly around, and stealth into the trees.
Okay.
And then land in the clearing when I am pretty sure no one's around.
Why don't you do a perception check?
Oh, you said 9.
Okay.
It's on 18.
You think no one's looking? You're pretty positive. Like, you haven't seen anyone for an hour at all. So you think that you have got it pretty covered. That no one,
nervous now.
No one saw anything.
That was the day the fairies fell.
Hopefully not.
I will land in the clearing and one last look. I'll hold up the opal.
Okay. A hush kind of falls onto the clearing that you're in. And you're holding this opal. It's not large. It's honestly, many mistake it for the size of a pearl because of the just sheer size of it and the look. But you raise it in the air, and there's a hum of magic as a sigil of blue and white appears in front of you in a large circle. After a moment, as the northernmost in the south, you see it's actually kind of a compass that's showing directions. After a moment, everything clicks, and the sigil parts, and the clearing expands. Before you now, you find that there is a space of ivy and opal. There are trees in here that are both large and small, that are white barked, that have bits of blue and purple and red that kind of taper off into them. There are fairies in all shapes and sizes. You know, especially as you're kind of passing some of these trees that have kind of smaller kind of portholes, that's where a lot of more of the elite are. Those are the fairies that have gone and proven themselves and have become true fairies. They have been able to shrink themselves to that size at will. You are still very large, and kind of maneuvering about. It's kind of like, honestly, this is out of game for a moment. If you've seen How the Grinch Stole Christmas, it's very much like the Who's in Whoville, kind of big, small, but you can tell that the more elite fairies, their wings have it's very subtle, but it's a slight sparkle to them. It's almost like, in the tapestries that you've seen, like the...
I just read, they're like shiny Pokemon.
I read your lips. It's almost like a bit of the veil has been copied into their wings itself and left that signature. So it's very subtle. It's not like, oh my gosh, glitter everywhere. It's just a very, as their wings shift in the wind and in the light, it pops up. Further past all these trees where a lot of these living quarters are, you know to be, and you do see that there's the citadel, which is this large opalescent building, and not too far, about a block in this terms, away is the school that you've been going to, Willowbrook. You know it well. It's a grand building of white and blue and red, that has this massive courtyard in the middle, has a gate that has these wings that lift up. Very much, hi, we're fairies, as you're here. But you have made it, and the door does shut behind you almost immediately. You do see that there are several saplings and keepers nearby that are keeping an eye on things as well. The equivalent of Crown's Guard for Illipin. What do you do?
I'm walking in. Hello! Wave to the people at the door. Just keep flying.
And it's a stark contrast, because out there's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of expression of joy, and otherwise. Here it's very muted. It's not that it's absent. It's just channeled very differently. So you do get a nod. There is one or two elders that kind of raise an eyebrow of the... This is not necessarily how we want to kind of operate. But they don't say anything as you pass. And where are you headed?
I have to go see someone, don't I?
You do. You have a meeting with, let me pull up their name. Literally, it was just here. Illadira Miele, who you know is going to be kind of supervising your kind of study abroad kind of, for lack of your internship.
Sorry, one more time with the name?
Yes, Iladira Miele. I'll pop it into the chat.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. It's one of those names that you don't think you'll be saying out loud until you say it.
Like Mdrak Bavarak. I said it wrong.
You know for a fact that she is the head weaver and keeper of the saplings. You've had a couple of correspondences with her before. Of the keepers, she's one that's a bit more open to eccentricities and differences. She's not as stark and you know, very oh my god, what's the word?
She's the cool teacher.
Yeah, she's not very strict. That's the word.
Yeah.
She's not super strict unless she absolutely needs to be. She's more open to creative exploration versus kind of following a certain set of steps. So, you know, you have that meeting in a little bit, but there are still some shops. Your home is not too far away. Your dorm is not far away either, because it is in Willowbrook. You shared a suite in there, but most of the other fairies have kind of left either to kind of prepare for exams or to get ready for their own journeys as well.
Yeah. I don't know what I would do. If I had the meeting.
You can head there if you want. You'll be early, but... You also... Why don't you roll a history check for me real quick?
Okay. 7.
Okay. You're not really sure what they may be asking you for in terms of preparation. You know that the library at Willowbrook has a lot of resources if you wanted to read up on, you know, certain adventures or things like that. You know, a lot of the information is slightly outdated because there hasn't been a lot of sapling exploration in the last couple of years. It's been kind of stark. You also know the Citadel, although it can be a little bit scary because there's a lot of... That's where, like, the head fairies all meet.
Yeah. I'm not going there.
Well, you're going to have to later.
I'm not going there early.
There you go. But yeah, I think probably at this moment you're just kind of still taking a moment maybe to memorize this place that has been your home, but also hasn't been your home.
Knowing that I have to go to the Citadel, I'd probably go to my dorm and, like, clean up.
Okay.
I've been running around.
What does Oria's dorm look like?
Very messy. There's clothes everywhere. Like, knowing that she's leaving, things are, like, half packed in trunks. There's, like, a trunk that has been packed and unpacked, and, like, the contents are spilling out of it. It's compared to, like, her roommate, who's probably way cleaner.
Sure. What colors would be in your room?
A lot of colors that are kind of the colors that Oria it has, like some purples, some reds. It looks her stuff is more of like a fall time in the woods aesthetic.
Sure.
And her room kind of matches that as well.
I imagine there's like an ash wood tree that's by your bed, kind of just draped very elegantly.
Yeah.
You know, the proper gardening from the buddies, the darlings that try so hard to sell you on. Yeah, most of your roommates have cleared out. I would say probably the one that doesn't share the room directly with you, because these dorms, it's suite style and you each kind of have a roommate.
Okay.
I would say that not your immediate roommate, but your suite mate, Amber, is still there. Amber is a fairy that has, she kind of wears more of the purple tones, similar to you, but a little bit darker. She has a slightly different mission than you that's coming up. She is not one that is going to be focusing on helping souls pass on, but rather the recording of that. And then putting that into a special booklet of sorts that will be kept for records. So that way, if you ever need to refer back to somebody's life, it's there. Basically, she's going to be working in the Citadel, kind of working in, imagine like a news kind of area of taking in the tomes and stuff like that. So not nearly as exciting in her opinion. She's quite jealous of the fact that you're getting to go out and explore. So you kind of hear her smacking things into a small bag that looks like a set of leaves wrapped together in a small huff.
If you hit it again, it's gonna break.
I'm sorry, what? She just looks at you.
If you keep hitting things, they're gonna break.
It's the least of my problems.
What's wrong now?
And she laughs at that. She actually like sits down in her bed, which is an absolute mess. You see this little, it looks almost like a dust bunny bouncing around her feet. You know it's her little familiar, Floof, who is just this gray. It's literally dust that she kind of magicked together, and it looks like a little adorable bunny at certain points that kind of bounces up and down. I thought I was done with my exams. I have one more, and I am not ready for it.
Which one do you have left?
Arcane, all magic stuff. I'm not good with that.
I cannot help you, I'm sorry.
Not helping.
I can't, not with Arcane. That's above me.
Oh, man.
You have a buddy? Isn't that worth something?
I know, and he's so cute, but this is so... I thought I was done. These exams are going to be the placement of where I'm going to be in the Citadel, either if I'm going to have a good position or an absolute shit one. So, fuck.
Well, okay. Here's what we can do. Have you studied?
No?
When is it?
And she kind of looks at on the right side of the room where the windows are. The sun's coming in, and you see that there's a small sundial that's showing the time of day. It's in an hour.
So you're telling me that an exam on the Arcane,
Yeah.
that is your entire future,
Yeah.
in 1 hour,
Yeah.
you didn't remember?
No.
Okay, so how against cheating are you?
I'm not totally against it, but the fact that it's arcane is making me think they have something set up to make sure we don't cheat.
True.
And that will be worse if I get caught for cheating. As for sure, I'm going to need
So
drugs
true.
of the drugs.
They probably wouldn't like that.
No. See, you're
look,
so lucky.
I just
don't
hit
have
things.
to do this.
Yes, but do you know how many times I've been hit in the head this week?
I would rather deal with that than this.
I could hit you in the head,
I mean,
and then you probably wouldn't have to take the exam.
Then you might get in trouble. I'm not going to ask you to do that.
It was an accident?
Say that like you actually mean.
It was an accident.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You came around a corner.
One look from the Weavers, I'm sure that will go over real well.
You just came around a corner, and I just punched you in the head like 6 times.
I think they would believe that if we were having one of our horror reading nights. Don't think they're going to believe that right now.
I tripped over Fluff.
But Floof literally, and she kind of just like taps Floof lightly, just kind of dissipates and then comes back together.
Well, I think you should probably read as fast as you humanly can.
Yeah.
Or thoroughly can.
That's where I'm at. You packing up?
Yes, I have to go to the Citadel, so I thought I'd get cleaned up a little before I headed over there.
Yeah.
They don't like mud, and there's lots of mud on my boots. So, going to get cleaned up, I'm going to go to the Citadel, get whatever I need to do there, finish my shopping, and then I guess I'm out.
Such a life. Aren't you nervous?
A little. But what's the worst that could happen?
I mean, if you look at any of the stained glass windows in the citadel, a lot.
Yes, but a great war is most likely not going to break around a small fairy going on a little bit of a walk around to write down notes about what cities look like.
I don't know. People have gone to war for worse and for less.
There has been nothing interesting that happened in the last how many years?
50, maybe 60.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm slightly
I seriously
older than
doubt
you, but
it's going to start in Illipin of all cities. Towns. It's not even a city. It's a town with magic schools. It can't even be that much more exciting than here.
Anything's exciting than here. You
I
at
mean,
least
that is-
get clearance to go out of here.
Yes.
Roll a perception check.
Natural 20
Natural 20.
for 24.
As
I
you
see
look
everything.
around Amber's room, which purples and is an absolute mess, you see she's quite an artist. And she has some beautiful drawings that she has labeled. You can guess that some of these are like the bridge that you crossed over Etched. But there's something different about them. It's got a white and blue hue. It's not... You gather this was drawn not from something she's actually seen, but more so something that she's maybe gathered from hearing from you or from others, or even from her books. All of her pictures have that hue to them. It's slightly dull, it's slightly, not mundane, but it's just toned down in color. But liveliness to it as well. This is someone who has not been able to leave the confines of Willowbrook, let alone this fairy village that you're in. You have special permission based upon what you're going to do. So Lornan was a small task. She's seeing the world completely different than you are.
Well, maybe we can get you to get out of here too. Even just for a little bit. There are magical schools out there. You could be... They have to have books on the death and their customs. It would just make sense for you to go.
Sorry, I almost had a Salem incident part 2 because Tanner just popped his head up. Sorry. I was like, nope. She pauses for a moment. Maybe when I eventually get up higher, they might be able to let me go, but don't see that happening this century. So, just means you'll have to bring... Ooh, you'll have to send me lots of gifts.
Yes, that is something I will for sure do.
Her eyes get narrow.
We'll be lucky if I remember that I'm supposed to check in. But if you ever message me or send whatever you do where you talk in my head, then I'll tell you what I'm seeing. Can't people do that? Don't people do that?
Why would I talk in your head? That sounds really invasive.
I know, it's like when you do the thing. You know, when we're really late and we hear the professor in our head saying, "Where are you?"
I don't have
Don't you know how to do that spell?
No, I don't have that happen.
Oh, maybe I'm just late a lot. But if you get that ability, you know they have ways of contacting you. You'll have ways. And then I'll just tell you what we're doing.
Yeah, that sounds even more scary.
What?
The fact that they can just go into your head.
How did you not know that? Oh, you could have failed this arcane class. I mean,
I don't have to deal with that.
No,
I don't know
but-
what you and your little saplings are doing. And she gets, at this point, vibrantly red. She's just gone from calm to really upset. You see the tips of
I was
her
joking. I
purple
was joking.
wings turning a red. Are you kidding me? I don't know what they're doing with you and your saplings, but listen, us keepers have a whole other mission. We don't go and pierce into people's heads, as far as I know. So that means you, and she gets really close.
I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
If I could do it, I would have done it earlier and stopped this whole argument from happening.
Floof.
No, that's true.
Get her. And Floof just starts jumping again.
It's got hair in it this time.
Alright, fine. And she kind of calms down, slowly lowers herself
I
back
just
down.
mean you're going to be a very powerful magic person. Being able to do all the cool magic things that all the professors can do. And then you could do anything and go anywhere.
I don't know about that.
All I can do is hit a thing. One day you'll be able to change everything.
You get to hit a thing, but also watch someone cross over and help them through that. That's amazing.
No, I get to watch someone else do that.
It'll be you eventually.
That's for the no, that's for the clerics. I just literally stand there while they do the cool thing, and I'm just like do 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 do.
With that song.
Yes, that is the first time I see someone pass. I'm gonna go do do do
Okay,
do do
I'm gonna
and
hold
see
you
how it
to
goes.
that.
And I will tell you how horribly it was, and how I was immediately fined by the clerics.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll still have a job, but I will be on the streets, destitute, and going do 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 in a corner, sadly to myself.
I need a sending stone with that noise.
Yes, that'd be amazing.
That would be cool. Anyways, I need to get back to saying you need to get out of here so I can study. Like, I love you, but get out of my room.
And I'm going to put 2 hands on her shoulder real quick. You can do this. You're amazing. You're awesome. You're very talented and very smart. Don't stress. You actually already know all the information.
We'll see.
And then go boop on the nose.
Ugh.
Okay, I'll talk to you later. I should go get cleaned up.
Yep, you stink.
And off I go. It's the smell of nature.
As you head off. You head to your room. By the time you finish kind of getting yourself ready, Amber has already taken off, Floof in tow. What would you be wearing? Would you change your outfit knowing you're going to the Citadel?
Yes, I would. I'm assuming we have like a school uniform or like, not necessarily uniform, but maybe like a...
You would know, not necessarily uniform, there are in the back of your kind of closet for the times when like Lornan is having the Sonoki, which to them is just a glimmer of lights. In fairy culture, it's a large celebration where a large passing of souls are moving on. To others, it's kind of like the Northern Lights. Mm-hmm. You usually don a type of outfit that's a little bit more formal. It's uncomfortable, it slightly restricts your wings a bit, but it's more so favoring in kind of the navy blues and whites. You're kind of getting the sense of a theme here in terms of the colors that are very present here, and why that may be. But you do have that. It's in the same style as your normal gear. It's just slightly more form-fitting and uncomfortable. You're more used to and more comfortable with more loose-fitting clothing that flows.
Would I be expected to be dressed nicer for something like this?
If you're going to the Citadel, probably.
Okay, then yeah, I would change into that.
Sure. You change. What are some thoughts as you're kind of processing everything?
She's doing that whole, I know I should be grateful. I'm getting to go out, but I don't really want to do this kind of thoughts. But also, there's so much to get done. There's nothing actually going on. How exciting could it really be out there? Just like back and forth. But also, like, there are dragons. So maybe if she just goes and does the things she wants to do and not necessarily what the school wants her to do, at least it would be fun.
Sure. All right. Takes you a bit longer to get ready. You're trying to make sure your hair is just right. Everything's put in place. But it isn't long that you head out, having grabbed everything from your dorm, and kind of dropping it off in the suite room for now, not intending to take it fully with you to the citadel. Then you head down the road to the citadel. And that's a great place to take our break. Stay tuned with us, everybody. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. So get up, stretch, and we'll see you back here in the citadel and see what Oria is getting up to. See you in a moment.
The end of the fairies is nigh.
Easy to.
I'm bored.
We can go scream at the cat for another hour.
Nah, I'm tired of screaming at the cat.
Shut up with that! Be bored no more with 1985 games. Enjoy their vast variety of products and help bring your tabletop to a whole new level. With easy-to-use dungeon sticky notes. The deck of stories holds prompts and adventure hooks for any setting, and thousands of cutout game pieces with their dungeon craft.
You've come all this way for nothing, fool! The princess is mine! You'll never get away with this, Balakor!
Write everything down in your Hero Notes journal and start your adventure today! Visit the World Wide Web address 1985games.com and find many helpful products such as their Dungeon Craft series, battle maps, deck of stories, miniatures, dungeon notes, and now VHS dice. Again, that's 1985games.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to our interlude with Oria and April Raygun, who's absolutely phenomenal. I am having a blast getting to know her a bit more and where she came from and what sparked the punching of a wagon, you know? So before we get back into it, I hope you got up and got a snack, took a quick break. Reminder to please go check out our Patreon for all of the stuff. We're going to be doing an interview with April, probably right around the time I post this to YouTube. And you'll get to find out some more stuff about our monkin fairy. But April, are you ready to dive back beyond the veil?
I want to punch it.
You know, punch it a little bit.
I want to punch the veil.
Okay. I'm sure that'll go well. We find ourselves following Oria along this cobblestone path. There is a small river. I use the term river lightly, that follows you along the path towards the citadel. It's more like a trickling of water, more of a brook, but you know this to be at least the kind of beginnings areas of what is known in your place as the Laughing River. It's where fairies, too, when they get to that point and need to move on, that's where they go. You head towards the citadel. It's large cathedral. It's kind of grotesque how much it just stands out in terms of its opulence and kind of strictness. There's a gothicness to it as well, as it is in the very center of this area. You do see that there are keepers and weavers, guards, much more operating in this area, as well as many of the elder fairies are around as well. Most do not even acknowledge your presence, deep in conversation as they float by, only about a foot or 2 feet compared to your stature, some even smaller. But you head in to the courtyard. The Laughing River panders off to the right, to where you see right next to it, kind of in the ground itself, it almost looks like a shelf of rocks where there is a stage of sorts. This is where they do the send-off for the fairy elders once they have reached an appropriate age. And it's time for them to kind of hang up and move on to beyond the veil for themselves. Your path, however, continues forward, eventually finding yourself in a grand hall with floors and floors above you of offices and tapestries and stained glass windows, all, of course, noting specific moments in history, but specific to fairy lore. Underneath each of the sigils is a nameplate of a fairy that has stepped in a time of need to stop something from happening, something bad. And these date back, for you know, thousands of years. Back to Ampistrano's beginnings. It's a rarity. You're basically in a museum of this. It's both overwhelming and a little bit jarring. So you're kind of walking around. There's a grand staircase that's ahead of you of everything is opal. Everything. It's one of those things you're almost getting sick of the amount of opal that's there. But it's something that is so innate to you and your culture, to your being part of the movement beyond the veil. That and the redwood that ties in. You continue up the stairs, down the hall, towards a slightly more weathered part of the citadel. This is where the saplings, the keepers, the weavers tend to come in. It's also where your advisor is. You see that there's this large office door in front of you of redwood, with in silver scrawling Miele. There's no one nearby. What do you do, Oria?
Is there like a waiting room?
Nope. You're in a hallway, and the office door is just right there. There's a small bench of kind of like spider webbing to the right of it, but
Oh, if it's just a door, I'll just knock on the door.
Okay. You knock on the door. After a moment, you hear the familiar tones of Elidira Miele. Is that Oria?
Yeah, it is Oria. Yes.
All right. Come on in. We have been expecting you.
Takes a deep breath, fixes her like jacket, walks in and just like bows.
Sure. Why don't you do a performance check to see how that bow looks?
19.
Okay.
I am very respectful when I have to be.
Very respectful, but still having a little aspect of your own flair to it. As you bow, you notice that there are 4 figures in this room. This is it looks familiar but doesn't. This is not reminiscent of the usual office of Elidira. You see that there is a stout fairy, kind of round about the middle, wearing spectacles on his face that are made of literal, it looks like toothpicks, kind of put together with a bit of ivy and then ice to kind of help hold everything together. He has a small staff in his hand and is kind of flittering about, only is about 14 inches, and in terms of his length, he's just kind of flittering about, but kind of scoops up towards you and kind of wanders around your head. Oh yes, Oria, alright.
Yes, I was supposed to be here at this time today?
Yes, I am Professor Periwinkle.
Yes, Professor.
Yes. I won't be dealing with you, but we're just here with the board.
My lucky day then, isn't it?
That it is, and he kind of just gives you a very slight wink. With your passive perception, you would also see he kind of leans in, and in his jacket, kind of robes, he gives a slight thumbs up, like you're doing fine, trying to just give you the little bit of reassurance. Alright, she looks like she's in tip-top shape, so I don't see any issue here. Do you? And he kind of gestures, looking back towards the group. You now see that they're the very familiar a fairy with sun-kissed skin, wearing a long mint green dress with an opal headpiece. She has long honey brown hair that is in a braided half-up, half-down style that trails down past her waist with jade eyes. This is Elidira, head weaver, keeper of the saplings. She kind of gives you a very slight, it's almost like a twitch of a wink on her right side, because on her left is a very stern-faced woman. Honestly, her face looks slightly acornish. It's just very kind of pointed, severe. She is not someone... Actually, roll a history. I'm curious if Oria would know her.
15.
15. Okay. This is not a professor you've had to deal with. But you've heard Ember tell tale. She is the arcane teacher for several of the fairies. Lornan. Or, you don't know if that's necessarily her name or a nickname that others have given her, since she's usually arcane as well as the lore keeper. So, Lornan, usually there's some snorting that follows afterwards with that. She has, her hair is up in a very tight bun, not a single hair out of place. There's a streak of white in her graying brown hair She has a very just almost looks like she's sucking on sour candy, sour look on her face. Green, like forest green robes, sitting perfectly straight, very statuesque, but just looking at you very severely. I don't know about this. Lornan, come on. Calm down. She'll be alright. Elodera kind of motions for you to get out of any kind of bow if you were still in it, to kind of relax a little bit. Alright, so, Oria.
Yes. Hello.
So this is your meeting to get you ready to go out as one of the saplings. Are you ready for it?
Yes, this is my scheduled time, and I'm supposed to be here, so yes, I'm ready currently.
Good. So, do you have any questions about what exactly you'll be doing out there? And why it is so important that you're doing what you're doing?
I believe it is to learn more about the world outside and understand their cultures and customs. And I'm to report back with the things I've learned and seen.
But do you know why that's so important?
So we can best learn how to serve the people out there.
Correct. Partially.
And to understand the world of death.
Also correct, partially. It's a way of you as a sapling. You're going to be taking on as much knowledge and experience as you can. While you won't be helping specifically someone pass on, your knowledge is absolutely vital to make sure that going forward we have as much information as possible. It not only protects us, but it also protects the veil itself. For while it's very close, it's also very far. So we need to make sure that connection is strong. And those that protect it, which will become your responsibility, are strong too.
Understood.
Good. Well, do you have your gear?
I thought I'd be getting a list of things that I would need.
You'll be getting a list.
Oh, okay, good. Yes, I don't
It was
have
a
anything
trick question. Yes.
yet prepared.
Right. Now, unfortunately, I'm of the belief that necessarily you should be finished with testing and all of that. Elodera takes a small pause and very slightly leans to the side where Lornan is. Others believe that you should be tested once more. So, it's a bit of a two-parter. I'm sorry for the inconvenience for not letting you know it beforehand, but these situations will be popping up where you're not going to necessarily know they're happening until they happen. So, I hope that's all right.
Yes, whatever I need to do.
Perfect. So we do have a bit of a... And at this point, Lornan quickly... Yes, that's enough. Enough with the chivalries. We have a test to give you. It's a two-parter.
Okay.
Fail it, you'll go right back to the academy.
Understood.
Is that absolutely clear with you?
Yes, do not fail or I am still in academy.
Perfect. So we have a bit of a questionnaire, so it's... And the next one I think you'll... Well, Elodea here thinks you'll favor more with it being more of a practical exam. So... Is that Felix?
I think Felix might have followed me. I did not mean to let that happen. Cats do not... Cats do what they will.
It's
Fail,
right.
magic, it does not matter.
That's alright. If a cat can get in here, it's not a big deal.
I think it's canon that cats can get through any magic.
It's true. I mean, they are also the ones that usually see when someone is about to move beyond the veil. Eladir takes a very quick statement before she swigs her tea. Well then. Oria.
Yes.
What is the most dangerous creature for us fairies?
Oh, shit.
I've said
It
it
is-
twice before. We'll see.
I know. I'm going through my notes. It's an ice lizard? Ice.
Close.
Ice. It's an ice something. Ice spider.
Ice crab.
Ice.
I will give that
Ice
to
crab.
you. Ice crab. You're really close.
I'm like, it's in my notes. Ice crabs. They could hurt us
That's correct.
and drain our magic.
Not only that, what else do they do if they touch us?
We lose the ability to fly because it drains the veil.
We disappear.
Oh yes, we also disappear. We disappear. Shit.
We disappear.
We disappear.
We disappear. You're not wrong. There's just more to it. You're doing fine. If your wing is broken, how do you go about mending it?
We meditate for a long time and seek medical assistance.
Not only that, what do you specifically do, Oria?
April does not have that in a note.
No, this is so to kind of, this is not necessarily something we've actually talked about, but
Ooh.
each fairy, a lot of that soul and veil energy is tied to their wings. It's a freedom of it. So when, yes, getting help and meditating is for sure something good, but what is something that Oria enjoys that helps piece her back together when she's specifically feeling a little bit unsure of herself? That representation of a torn wing or ruined wing.
Bringing loved ones joy or helping them find happiness.
Good. Yeah. I'm not expecting you, and this is out of you, I'm not expecting you to know absolutely everything, because you and
April
I...
just panicked.
Nope. Nope. This is perfect. Alright. How do you help someone move on?
We say the prayers that best represent their culture. If we do not know what culture they represent or what their death rituals or customs are, we have a kind of all-encompassing one, and we prepare that.
Good. Perfect. I think that's enough for the questions. Don't you?
Yes.
Little tip. Make sure that you will be the one leading this going forward. So you get to decide when those questions and answers are done. Not only...
Then yes, we are done with questions.
There you go. You'll get more practice with it out there. This is Eladira talking as Lornan is just kind of slightly seething in her seat next to Eladira. All right. So I think that's enough to show that bit of language and information. Now for the more practical part of this. Now, we do have 3 options ahead of you, Oria.
Okay.
And at this point, you see this table rising up of spiderweb and ivy. Large kind of like dining room table. And there are 3 cubes on the table. One is a vibrant teal. The other in the middle is of a kind of purple, like a royal purple. the final one, is white. Each of these cubes contains a creature in it. Choose which one you would like to know and do battle with. Because we need to make sure that your skills are absolutely on par.
Okay. And you said there is a purple one, a white one, and a what was the first one?
Like a teal.
A teal.
Yeah.
Looking at them, could I determine at all what creature is inside of them?
Why don't you do... I'll allow a nature or animal handling.
My nature is much better by 1.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20, nice. Okay. The teal one is what they would call Will of a Wisp. A little messenger for the veil, sometimes. The dark purple one, that one, you immediately get the ping. Ice crab. You're like, nope. Nope, no. The white one, you get the image. It flashes across your head. It seems like it's a horse of some kind. Not with a horn. It's doesn't have like flames everywhere. The image of honestly mist kind of coming off of its hair. A white horse.
Okay.
What would Oria pick?
The monster in me wants to pick ice crab just because.
I mean, certainly can try.
But I'm pretty sure I have said in a game that I've never actually seen an ice crab.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I can pick that one. I have to go with smoke horse.
You want smoke horse? Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't trust will-o-wisp. That one, I'm gonna get magic somewhere.
Valid. Okay. So you take the white kind of cube. It looks like an ice cube, honestly. And a door appears to the left. All right. Take your cube and go in there. We'll be watching. Good luck.
Thank you. And I swoop up the cube and I head towards the room.
Love it. All right. You head into the other room. It's a much larger room. The ceiling itself goes about 20 feet into the air. So you have a lot more room to kind of fly around. The actual room is about 50 feet in length. This is, kind of a sparring center. Eladir is, while she doesn't fight as much anymore, is a very capable fighter. Mm-hmm. So this, you can kind of gather, is her kind of sanctuary to practice. That you can see there's lots of training materials in the back, but in the center there's a kind of fighting ring of sand.
Okay.
What do you do with the cube?
I look at it, I put it in the middle of the room, and I take a couple steps back.
All right. After a couple moments, the cube starts to shift. Almost like a reverse Rubik's Cube. Coming apart and expanding. Looks almost like origami kind of forming. Until eventually you see a head, then a hoof pulling into a large leg front, the other one, the body of this horse, as well as the back legs as well. This horse stands above you.
Big horse.
Big horse. At about 15 feet in terms of height.
How dare you?
Listen,
I would like to also add that as soon as I put the cube down, I take my jacket off and immediately take the dodge action.
Oh, 100%. Yep. No, go ahead and roll initiative.
Just in case they get initiative higher than me.
Nope, that's totally fine.
Which they are probably... I got a 6th initiative. Thank God I dodged action.
Honestly, you get to go first because they rolled
Yes!
they rolled a 4 and their initiative is 2. Or 1, rather. So they have a 5.
I rolled a 2 and my initiative is 4. Haha, suck it,
There you
giant
go.
horse.
So you get to go first. This is not a creature you're super familiar with. To you, it just looks like a mist horse. That's it.
Okay.
So what do you do as this thing stands above you?
Does it look like it's going to attack me? Does it look angry? Okay.
You can
Is that the test? Is the test not to hit it?
You can already see it's like moving its one hoof, like getting ready, kind of like, you know, when horses are getting a little anxious. Yeah, it's very much ready to get started.
I think I would immediately fly up and then just my staff comes out and just whack it once.
Okay.
With the staff.
Go for it.
15?
Just misses as you swing down. It kind of just kicks it away with its front hoof. You can hear the crack, almost like thunder as it happens.
Then flurry of blows.
Okay.
And since we're back at third, key point. What? Bonus action. Key point.
You.
Flurry of blows.
Thank you. Sorry. Need to make sure. I forgot you're level 3, so I was like, wait a minute.
I get flurry of blows. How many do I get? I get 2 hits?
You get 2, yes.
Okay, I can't remember a third. Okay, so first one is an 18 to hit.
That hits.
And it does max damage of 8.
Nice.
Second one is dirty 20.
That hits.
For a total of 6.
All right. What does it look like as you are flurrying of blows this horse?
I think since we've already talked about how my staff kind of has like that arm thing, so it like wraps around. I hit it, I let go, it flies around my head as I go punch as it catch it back.
Oh, I love that. Yes. Kind of smacks the horse across the face as it's about to like rear in, kind of knocking it away back slightly as you do some nasty damage to it.
And then I poof.
That's right.
Since I flurried to blows, and that's a d20.
Mm-hmm.
I poof. That's a 14.
Okay. All right. You poof.
But nothing happens.
All right. The horse.
There was like, I winked at him right as I
flew back. Bye. The horse not liking that at all. You see the mist kind of flaring up around its hooves, its mane kind of expanding, starting to look like tendrils in the air. The actual form of this horse is shifting. You see more of a gray tinge is starting to come in. This is a creature that is of the veil, but also has something else within it. As its tendrils kind of move almost like
secret ice crab
jellyfish into the air, making it actually incredibly difficult. It looks like it's searching for you with these tendrils, and you can see that there's a static kind of shock towards, because you can see this even though it can't see you. There's this static kind of energy that's shifting in the air. Let's see, it's going to do sweep attack at disadvantage, which I rolled 2 19s. I'm so sorry. That was a net.
That doesn't hit. It does hit. I was 16.
Okay. That's going to be 9 points of electric damage. And I need you to make a Constitution savings throw, please.
Okay, saving throws. Con. Oh, 11.
11. You will take an additional, I rolled a 1. Additional 1 point of kind of residual static that stays with you. You can actually see it slowly moving up and down your body. It's almost like think of like a mouse that's just really excited about cheese, just kind of moving up and down. I know it's just the first thing that popped into my brain. But it's moving across you. It seems like it's slightly highlighting where you are in that.
Oh, that's good.
Your turn.
I'm gonna poof right back behind it.
Okay.
And then since I caught my staff, hit it again.
Go for it.
Quarterstaff. That is a 25.
That hits.
For 6 points of damage.
Okay.
And again, I let it go and just hit. Flurry of blows. Key point bonus action. First one is natural 20
Nice. Let's go.
for 26. I forgot how we do this.
So it's your max. Then
So-
roll one more time.
Okay, so that would be 8. And then another d4. Oops. And that's a 1. 9.
9.
9 points of damage.
Amazing. All right.
Better than
Better.
doubling my 1.
Yep, it's better than nothing. Amazing.
Because
Yes.
my modifier I only get once, right?
Yes.
Okay, because it's a d4 plus 4, which is 8, and then I roll a 1. Cool. Then I hit it again
All right, go for it.
for 22 to hit.
That hits.
And that time it's a 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage. All right.
How does it look?
Thwack. It's not bloodied.
Okay, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna poof back out of existence.
Okay. All
As I
right.
can.
All right. As you poof, you still see that kind of little beetle moving up and down, at least
Yeah.
outlining. Not exactly saying where you are. It's kind of just saying the general area where you are.
I rolled an 11, so I just poof.
Yes, you just poof. So, with that, what, did you realize something?
I realize I have a saves on Constitution saving throws.
Do you want to re-roll that then?
Or all saving throws against magical effects. With that.
It would be a magical effect innate to its... I'm going to allow it. So if you want to roll to see if you could remove
Okay.
that one, go for it.
16.
That just makes it, so it would actually remove that.
Give me my 1 hit
There
point
you
back.
go. Take the one, but also that beetle would not be popping up and outlining where you are.
Okay. I'm sorry. I
No.
I know. I started panicking with fought.
No, don't apologize. No, that's good. That's good. Hey, it's been a minute since we played. So and you've leveled down, so it's a thing. It is going to try and do another sweep of its
Okay.
feelers.
At disadvantage.
Disadvantage, yep. Thank God for disadvantage, because I rolled a nat 20, and then I rolled a 15.
AC is 16.
Yep. So it just kind of swipes in your general direction, missing you completely. It is going to move. So it was in the center of the room. It's going to move towards the right, kind of bracing itself towards the side. So that way it's for sure knows that you are not coming at it from the right side of it. But it's just kind of prepping itself ready. Again, tendrils are still moving out from its hair, as well as its sides. Kind of feeling around looking for you. Mm-hmm. Your move.
I have one of those left.
It's about 5 feet away, too, by the way.
Perfect. I poof right in front of it again. And I whack it with my
Alright.
stick. That's a 23 to hit.
That
I'm
hits.
real good at these. For 7 points of damage.
Okay. Still doing the spinning thwack as you do it.
I'm gonna use my last key point.
Okay.
I just don't want to get hit again, and that's why I'm doing this, so I can have a chance to poof out.
Yep, no, that's valid.
First one is 22 to hit
That hits.
for 5 points of damage.
Okay.
And then a 12, which I'm assuming does not
That
hit.
does not, no. Its tendril just kind of whips away one of the swipes. You actually feel the electricity kind of going into your staff. Not reaching you, but you can feel it resisting.
And then let's roll this d20 to see if I poof. Oh, I rolled an 11, I poof. I just barely.
We need Mersha's just and I poof.
And I poof.
And I poof. All right. This thing, not liking how it's looking because now it's officially bloodied, is going to make another sweep. Disadvantage again.
Disadvantage.
Okay, with disadvantage, 17.
Yeah, I accept it.
Okay. All right. So, go ahead and make another Constitution savings throw, please.
16.
Okay. You
And
make.
I do that with advantage.
Yep, you make that with the save, so you do not deal with the kind of bug that outlines. You don't take that additional damage. You do take another 9 points
Okay.
to you as that kind of
9.
sweeps across, again, the crackling of electricity as it's happening. It's going to also use its movement to kind of charge towards the opposite side of the room. It's trying to gain some kind of distance on you. This time managing to go into a corner. So that way its back is covered and it's keeping an eye from left to right in front of you to kind of get an idea. The tendrils have fully expanded. So it's almost like this netting of an electrical kind of field that's in front of it for about 10 feet.
Question.
Sure.
Because we have discussed this, but we've never decided the answer.
Yes.
If it leaves my attack radius, do I get opportunity attack with disadvantage while
Yes.
in the veil? Okay,
Yes.
so I'm gonna take an opportunity attack with disadvantage
Go for it.
with my staff because I grabbed that again. My lowest one was a 20.
Oh my god, yeah, that hits.
I will take a screenshot if you need
No, I
it.
believe you.
D&D Beyond, thank you. You are. And I got max damage with 8. Wait, that's not max damage. That's just an 8. That's 8. That's 8. I don't care.
You got
I was
so
thinking I was
excited.
punching. I got excited. Either way.
Amazing.
Oh, D&D Beyond's trying to keep fairies alive. Thank you.
Oria, I need you to make one final Constitution savings throw as you snuff the life out of this mist horse.
Do I still get it with advantage? Am I still technically in the
You
veil?
do. Yes.
Yes! 15.
Just miss. Just miss. Literally. The horse itself, what does it look like, actually, as you are smacking this thing? You see the tendrils expanding, reaching almost like in a hug that you do not want. Like static, reaching out towards you as you are kind of flying through to smack this horse.
So I flew out. I poofed back in, I hit it in the face, and I poofed back out. And I think my plan was to like appear back behind it. And as it was running, I was like, wait, oh no, you don't. And just like you see a flash of mist or vapor.
Yeah.
You don't quite see me. And it just like whacks this thing in the back of the head as it's
Love it.
running.
All right. As that happens, the mists around it expand. And the electricity moves from the tendrils to the mist itself. You are going to take 7 more points of electric
I'm down.
damage. You're down? Oh my
I have 6 left.
god. Oh. So
I'm making death saves.
I imagine what happens is the horse kind of poofs out, the mist is settling in, and you at that point, as it kind of just hits you, drop.
Like you see it kind of like the electricity go through the veil and like it shocks me back into existence.
Yep, you just
And I
come
fall.
right on back.
Wait,
What?
if I was already 5 feet in the air, do I take falling damage? Do I immediately fail a death save?
I would say at this point you were a little bit closer, and this
Okay,
room is
good.
slightly padded. I'm gonna just
Okay,
say
good.
that.
I was like, do I immediately just...
No.
dead.
No, this room is slightly padded because this is for fighting, so it's got
Okay,
those like
good.
gymnastic mats, so like
Okay. Like trampoline floors.
yeah,
We're
you
good.
get a little bit of a bounce, you know. I'll give you that. You're welcome. As you poof, unconscious. As unconsciousness claims you, Oria, what are some thoughts that enter your head?
It's kind of like a recounting of the day. Just like a backward replaying, but as it goes backwards, as it gets to the start of my day, it just goes faster and faster and faster. And you see like blimps of school and assignments, and the first time I poofed, the first time I had to fight something in school, you see my sister and my parents and me fighting my sister as we were younger, when I first started learning how to be a monk, and her like just throwing magic at me, and it's like a life. It's just rewind and going faster, and it's kind of. The longer I lay there, the more the veil kind of seeps in on the edges.
As you lay there, you see starlight in the distance. You're still in the kind of darkened portion, but you can still see far away a humanoid creature standing there just beyond. Light, overpowering light, hits your eyes. You're not staring at the stars. You're not staring at the veil anymore. You're staring at the ceiling in this room. Eladira has your head in her lap. A small opal kind of pressed lightly to your chest. And you see the wafting of healing coming over you. Welcome back.
Did I do it?
You did wonderfully.
What was that thing?
Hopefully not something you will have to deal with. It's one of the protectors of the veil. That's not one of the fairies. I'll tell
You
you
did a good
more
job.
about it later.
Okay. And she's kind of like head back down.
You hear a slight, like, as that happens, like from overhead. You can guess it sounds like Lornan. She did just fine. She just needs rest and equipment. And I think she's perfectly capable.
Thank you.
Here you go. And she kind of slips into your hand a small berry. What would Oria's favorite berry be?
Raspberries.
Oh,
Because
okay.
they grow in the woods. She has to go find them. Hunt them out.
Yeah. So it's a small raspberry, which will give you 2 HP back.
Yes. I'm alive.
Keep you alive. Eladira nods to the rest of the professors that have gathered, helping you to your feet slowly. Well
I'm
done.
gonna dust myself off.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Seem to be... What was it? I think you actually explained it. Poofing? Quite well.
Thank you. I don't think that's the correct term, but it's the easiest.
I like it. It's unique. It's yours. I think it works. Well, here's your list. And she ushers to this kind of chest that moves across the room towards you, and it opens its mouth, and there's a parchment that unrolls with a list of supplies, adventuring gear, parchment. There's a note at the bottom of the parchment that says, "Do not lose your opal."
Hold it real tight.
You'll
Understood. I guess I should get shopping before I go.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time, everyone. I will be sure to report back.
Do you know
As
how
scheduled.
often you need to report
Every
back?
week. Every week, I will report back.
Every 3 to
I'm
4 days. That would be the best.
Yes, every 3 to 4 days, I'll report back. Guaranteed. Yes.
Aldera gives you, like, a very, like, knowing look. Like, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're lucky if I go to class 3 or 4 days a week.
Yeah. She knows. All right, then.
I will. Thank you, and I will be sure to speak with you all soon. At least you, for sure.
Yes.
And I do another bow, and she kind of coughs up blood, wipes it off, heads out.
Go see a cleric. Good luck.
Yes,
sapling.
that's the stop. Thank you.
You're welcome. As the door shuts, and Oria heads into town to get her supplies.
And see a cleric.
See a cleric to get some healing.
Maybe take a short rest. Sit on that bench for half an hour.
Yep. You do hear from Ember that she just barely scraped her exam. Just barely.
She could do it.
With that in mind, supplies soon to be in hand, an adventure just around the corner. I think that's a great way to end for today.
Yay!
Yay!
I fought a horse.
You fought. Oh boy. There's much more complicated than that.
We went out together.
You did. It was so good though. Oh, April. And for everyone to know too, with Ampistrano being a homebrew world, April and I have been fleshing out this particular part. So, expect more. We still got a little more work to do, but I think it's pretty cool.
I like fairies a lot.
It's really cool. So, April, where can we find and support all the amazing things you're doing?
I'm doing things and stuff. Follow me at April Raygun on all social media things. Well, most of the social medias I check. Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. That's where I check the most. And I'm doing a bunch of stuff, so just follow me, because I don't know my schedule.
That's a mood.
At least not today.
And also go hire April for your actual plays, your podcasts, all that, because seriously, she is a joy to have.
Hire Jordan, too.
Shush, this is about you. Anyways.
Uno reverse?
Fine, porque no los dos.
Yeah. Hire us both. Give us your money.
Speaking of money, go support our Patreon. Seriously. It'll help us expand more, because, oh boy, the amount of artwork we need. As well as, hey, we're going to be having our very first guest pretty early into season 2.
I don't know why I just got excited about that.
I mean, you know who it is, so...
Yeah, I saw the end of the episode. I'm not excited about that. I'm reversing my clap.
if that's going to be who they're playing.
I've watched Star Trek Discovery. I know what happens when you put someone's fake mind in someone else's body.
I'm just saying. Who's to say that's the character they're playing? I don't know.
I'm not going to trust it. I'm going to kill it immediately.
That's valid. Well, if we hit our Patreon goal, I think we're trying to get 10 patrons, then we'll announce who our very first guest is going to be. We have a ton of guests on for season 2. There are things in the works. I'm excited. Is it January 21st yet? Seriously, thank you so much for hanging out with us today, and for seeing this interlude. Again, reminder to check out Diodora's, which should also be available at this point. Next up will be Toby, aka Robo-Goblin. Very excited to see what our lovely little owlbear druid has been getting up to. Then we have Blackstone, and then, of course, I keep thinking of the grenade gem immediately, and the whole campaign almost going away. Our lovely Dragonborn, Calvix.
No one will be there to save him in that one.
Oh, no. our lovely little dragonborn, Caldrix, aka Finn. That will be happening as well. So tune in for all that fun stuff. But from April 9, we'll see you next time. Beyond the Veil. Bye, everybody.
Bye.